Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Donahue and I'm a photographer and content creator based in New York City. I've had the honor of capturing numerous surprise proposals over the years, and I want to quickly share some tips and tricks that I've picked up. Not only that, I want to open up a discussion about whether or not to use flash when photographing proposals. Before we get into it though, it'd be appreciated if you can hit that follow, because I'm still a slave to the powers that be at YouTube, and this tells me that you like the content that I put out. So let's get into it. Like my other video on photographing a city hall elopement, this is not my main niche, even though it falls under events. How I came to photograph so many proposals is because when I was starting my side hustle in photography, I still worked a corporate job full time. My existing network were my coworkers and friends of friends looking to get engaged and married. And hello, I'm someone they know with a camera. Most of the time when you start out in photography, you get paid work, most likely through the people around you. This is why I'm a proponent of posting your work on social media. People can see it and you'll be top of mind. I appreciate all those people who gave me a start to my photography journey, because photographing proposals helped me pay my bills. It can be a steady source of income if you market yourself for that and that's something you want to do, and maybe even lead into the wedding photography section. After things started reopening, after the pandemic shut everything down, business was booming, mainly because people were itching to get engaged. Then things kind of slowed down, but it'll probably pick back up because those who started dating during the pandemic are probably going to get engaged soon. This is going to sound so cliche to say, but it's truly an honor to be that third person in the room. And many times it's just the couple and me, literally. And being that person to capture such an intimate moment between a couple. Like, they chose you to be that third wheel. And it's something I take very seriously. Photographing proposals is all about freezing that perfect moment when two lives are about to change completely. It's fast-paced and the moment itself is usually only like 30 seconds. It's also emotionally charged and requires a unique set of skills. So let's break it down. First things first. Preparation is key. Always scout the location beforehand if feasible. When I get on a call with a prospective client who wants me to photograph his proposal, for me, it's usually a guy who contacts me. I always strongly encourage meeting up in person beforehand and doing a walkthrough of the location. Every client I've done this with has been so happy that we did a walkthrough. This allowed them to get an understanding and an idea of what they're going to be literally walking into. This allows us to get on the same page, and then we both know where the other person's going to be. Obviously, that's not always possible because schedules don't align or people physically aren't there. Like, I had one client who literally flew in from Canada the day of the proposal. To combat that, what I ask my clients to do the day of the proposal is to share their location with me just for that day. And then if they remember, because they're probably nervous, to also send me a text so I know when they're approaching. Obviously, if they don't remember, that's what the location sharing is for, so I can be able to track them on my phone. Now let's get into the technical part, the camera gear. For proposals, I prefer to use my full frame, which is a Sony a7 III with a fast zoom lens, typically a 24-70 f2.8. This is the Mark II. It gives me the flexibility to capture wide shots of the scene. And then if the quarters are close, which I've been in that situation many times, zooming out is helpful. And then zooming in for those tight detailed moments. Fast writing SD cards are super important, preferably 200 MBS and above. As for camera settings, I always shoot in manual mode, but you can shoot in aperture priority if you want to. I just prefer full control. Put the aperture at like f4 or below to like f2 so that you can get some bokeh in the background and makes it more pretty. Keep ISO as low as possible while maintaining a fast shutter speed, at least 1/320th of a second to freeze the action. You could do 1/250, but for me, I have found that many times the images are just too blurry, so I have more of a guarantee with 1/320. Now, the main reason why I wanted to make this video, the big question: should you use flash or not when photographing a proposal? For me, personally, I avoid using flash because I find it distracting and ruins the moment. Instead, I work with the natural light or the existing ambient light. If you're like me though, who has had to shoot in numerous low light conditions, you're gonna have to bump up your ISO. It's unavoidable. Unfortunately, what's romantic and dimly lit in person is a photographic nightmare. What I do though to mitigate this and ensure I get crisp, sharp photos is, wait for this, I ask them to recreate the scene. Yep. So some of my clients get 2 proposals in a night. If you think that's embarrassing or it's a lack of skill, I can tell you I've never had a client complain. They care more about getting the shot. As their photographer, if you think the pictures you took have too much noise or it's too dimly lit, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I want to make sure that you have the perfect shot. So how do you feel about getting on your knee one more time? But this time, I'm going to use flash. The heart of proposal photography is capturing genuine moments, candid moments. Be prepared to shoot in burst mode to catch fleeting expressions. Focus on both partners, the one proposing and then the one being proposed to. During my walkthroughs with the proposer, I tell them to try and remember that we want to see their soon-to-be fiance's left hand. So we'll practice a few times about how they're supposed to walk in. And then as a photographer, while you might be hiding at first, when it's about to go down, it doesn't matter if they see you. They literally don't care because they're going to be so into each other, so enthralled in the moment. Now, because you are a business, you run a business, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but incredibly important: client service. As a proposal photographer, you're not just taking photos, you're part of one of the most important moments in a couple's life. Clear communication is essential. Being responsive over email or text within reasonable hours helps quell the client's anxiety. I come from a business background, so having a high sense of urgency and frequent communication is ingrained to me. It's just more professional. When you're there after the proposal, give your client some space to enjoy the moment before stepping in for post photos, and then stick to your turnaround time. Obviously, the sooner the better, but if you have a lot of volume, then it's important to manage expectations. I typically deliver galleries in about a week, but I'll also send a sneak peek in about 48 hours. To wrap up, remember that photographing proposals is more than just technical skills. It's about being present, prepared, and being ready to capture one of life's most beautiful moments between a couple. I wanted to keep this brief, and hopefully I did. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.